welcome back to Excel Basics Plus. In today's session, we're going to be looking at index and match function. This is similar to the Vlookup function that we looked at in our last video. And as a refresher, if we just have a quick look at this formula, the formula was looking up cell M18, which is the salesperson Jade. And we were looking in a range C5 to D11, which is all of the salespeople and the adult tickets. And we were telling Excel, look up Jade's name, but give me the result that is in the second column along, which is the 32 tickets here for the adult tickets. And of course, we used false as the indicator to say whether we wanted exact match or an approximate match. False means exact match. So as we move on to index and match, the reason we use index and match more often is that it's more dynamic. A Vlookup can only be used looking at data. The result that you want is to the right of what you are looking up. So for instance, if we had a whole pile of ticket numbers here as well, a Vlookup cannot look up Jade's name and look to the left of Jade's name. A Vlookup will only look to the right of what you are looking up. Index, however, can look up left, right, horizontal, vertical, whichever way you want it to do. So we'll jump straight into it. This is a very easy function. There are, in essence, two formulas, the index formula and then the match formula. And the two formulas are telling Excel exactly what you want to result in the field. So straight away, we start with index. So it's equals index, open bracket. Now the first part is literally telling Excel where do we want to have a look for the result. Now in this case we're looking up the adult tickets, and so we are literally looking at this field here. We are looking at this range here, all the adult tickets, because we know the answer is in that range, and that's the result that we want. So I mean, we can see it with only 6 salespeople. The answer is going to be 32. So next thing, of course, we do, press F4, get the marching ants there, locking that cell range in, as we are going to be pulling that formula the whole way down for all salespeople. Now, that's the first part, the index part. The second part, comma, is the match formula. So, match, open bracket, and this is where we now want to tell Excel which salesperson are we looking up. Now we know that Jade's name is in cell M6. Because we're going to be pulling this formula down and pulling it across to concession tickets, I want to lock in the column M. But I don't want to lock in Jade, I just want to lock in the column M. I then want to leave all the rows free so that when we pull this formula down, it will then look for the salesperson in each row. So to just lock in column M, it's $, M, and then 6. That still says, hey, look up Jade, but when we pull it down into the next row where Henry is, that will actually change the formula to be $M7. What we're actually going to do is, once we've finished this formula, we're actually going to pull it across to the concession tickets as well, and it's actually going to keep column M for the salesperson, but it's going to move a number of other things. So when we get to that, I'll run through that. Right now we want to lock in column M, but we want to keep the row variable. So we're looking up Jade, comma, and where are we looking? What's the range of salespeople we're looking up? Well, we already know it's the C5 through to C11, which is the salesperson. And once again, hit F4, lock in that range. Now the last piece is that we want the exact result returned. So similar to the Vlookup where we had comma and false at the end of the formula, this one we'll actually do comma 0. And 0 says we want the exact match. 1 says an approximate match. So we want the exact match, so we're going to be using 0. Now we close our match formula. There's your close bracket. And now we close the index bracket. So there's 2 closing of brackets there. You've got to close off each formula. Now I'm going to press enter and 32. We knew the answer was going to be 32, but if you had hundreds of salespeople and you were looking through, trying to trawl through that data just to find that one result, it would be much more difficult. This is a much easier way of finding that result. Now, as I said, we're going to pull that formula the whole way down. So we grab the corner, we pull it down, and just to double check, Elizabeth, 28, Elizabeth, 28, Alex on 19, Alex on 19, Catherine on 23, Catherine on 23. So we know those results are correct. That formula is correct. Now, remember I said that we were locking the cells. We actually locked the adult tickets. Not sure if you picked up on it, but D5 to D11 is the adult tickets. We actually want the concession tickets on the next column. So I'm actually going to go back into this formula and I'm actually going to change the D5 to D11. We've got it as $D $5 to $D $11. That dollar in front of the D is locking the column D. Because we're going to be dragging this formula over to concession, we need to unlock column D. So if we take out that dollar sign and that dollar sign, so it's D $5 colon D comma 11, we still get the same result. We'll drag that formula down, and now we'll actually drag that whole block across. And what you instantly see is it's changed the formula in the concession formulas to E $5 and to E $11, whereas the adult one was D5 and D11. So all it's done is it's copied the exact same formula except for those cells that we said don't lock. The other thing that we locked, of course, was column M for looking up the salesperson. But we didn't lock the row, so that as that formula comes down, it will change the row in the salesperson lookup. That's how easy index and match is. Now, the beautiful thing with it, as I said, it's more dynamic. You can, if you had data on this side of the salespeople, you would literally choose that as the result that you're looking for after index. It's not looking at a number of columns to the right. It's looking at what the data is that you're telling it you want them to look up. So this is a hell of a lot more dynamic, and it means that you can actually easily find data throughout a large data set without having to use that Vlookup formula, which only goes to the right. That's it for today for the index and match. Keep practicing and look out for the next video. Thanks.